Following the May 24th mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, The Onion posted the same article it's been posting for years now. No way to prevent this, says only nation where this regularly happens. On this instance, they flooded their homepage with the many iterations that this article has seen over the years. It's a sobering and effective demonstration of the normalization of people dying en masse at the hands of a gunman. But this is The Onion, a satirical website that, for all its merits, could not be mistaken as actual news. How true is it that the United States is the only place where this regularly happens? It's a claim that has been shared by the likes of former President Barack Obama, although it was rated as mostly false by PolitiFact at the time. I certainly hear more about mass shootings in the US, but I live in the US. I don't regularly consume news media from around the world, and wouldn't expect that shootings in other countries would register on our national consciousness nearly as much. This kind of bias happens with all kinds of things, even outside of policy. For example, I know there are a lot of Subway sandwich shops here in America, but I have no clue how prevalent they are overseas. Seeing a Subway on every street corner here means nothing about their prevalence around the world. Maybe footlongs are commonly known as 30 centimeters in other places. Or maybe having unbridled access to unsatisfying and soggy sandwiches only regularly happens in this nation. Turns out, Subways are far more common in the United States, but they still exist worldwide. That's data I could only access through some research, so I set out to do the same with data on gun violence around the world. These figures were gathered from gunpolicy.org, a website run by the University of Sydney. It cites its data from sources such as the World Health Organization and research polls. I looked at information from these 12 countries. Some are known for having tight gun laws, some are known for having lax gun laws, and some are just similarly developed countries. This stuff is hard for me to talk about, so I'm just going to show you what I found and we'll chat about it after. If you're looking for a silver lining, the United States isn't the world leader in accidental gun deaths. On that particular form of gun violence, they're only a clear second. Everywhere else across the board, it is clear this is a uniquely American issue. One statistic that stood out to me was the gun-related homicide rates. A common argument against gun control is that bad guys would do bad things, gun or not. But the United States is also unique in their total number of homicides. They lead all these nations in homicides by population. This is driven by their disproportionately high amount of homicides committed with a firearm, which is double anyone else. People might still try to do bad things if it was harder to get a gun, but right now, they don't even have to try. And it's getting thousands of people killed each year. There are other alarming aspects to gun violence in America. I couldn't find good information on worldwide gun-related injuries, but I would anticipate they wouldn't be less frequent in the worldwide leader in firearms. That quote from Obama that was flagged as mostly false was due to his claim that the United States is the only country where mass shootings happen. However, PolitiFact states that it is true that the United States experiences more mass shootings by raw numbers and population than other countries. It's hard to know how to best address this issue. There's no correlation between a country's rate of registered versus unregistered firearms and gun-related deaths. Gun deaths is strongly correlated to the number of guns per household and the number of guns per population, but of all the metrics mentioned today, gun deaths correlate most strongly with the number of Subway shops in a country, which is about as unsatisfying as a conclusion as you're gonna find. That said, this really is the only nation where this regularly happens. The only country with more guns than people. The only country where guns are involved with most homicides. The only country where mass shootings happen this regularly. High-level gun reform is needed to address this uniquely American problem.